Tell me how the fight came together with you and Oscar Rivas.
So I was actually waiting for my daughter to be born, and my promoters were calling me on the three-way call, the three of them, like a three-way chat, and I couldn't pick up because, like I said, my Dion was in labor, my girlfriend, and so Dan, my promoter, he texted me. He said, "You got to answer, Ryan. We got to talk. We got a big opportunity." So I knew obviously it was a serious offer, or something was serious. So, anyways, I called him, and sure enough, he says, "You got a world title shot," and then I said, "You're joking, right?" He said, "No, I'm serious," and I said, he says, before he even got the words out of his mouth who the opponent was or who I'd be fighting, I said, "Yeah, I'm taking the fight." And and then later, of course, I found out I'm fighting Oscar Rivas, and I'm moving up. I'll be fighting a heavyweight the night of the fight, so you could say I'm moving up 2 weight divisions. And then I found out after that it's for the first ever Bridgerweight world title. So it'll be the first ever world title fight in the new division in the history of boxing.
How does that feel, getting your first world title shot after only being in boxing and being 13 now?
At first, it was completely like surreal, like almost like I didn't believe it, maybe, but now as like it's setting in, and I'm starting to realize that it's meant to be. It's like everything's happened in my life, you know, just leading up to this point. It just almost like, I don't know if you want to believe whatever you want to believe, but it's like something's lining up, stars are lining up. However you want to word it, it's like this is the way it's supposed to be, and yeah.
Stylistically, what do you see in this fight?
Stylistically, I see I'm going to be fighting a freight train coming right at me, and I'm standing on the tracks, and it's going to be difficult. I know that I'm going to have to go through things I've never gone through before in the ring. I know mentally and physically both I'm going to be pushed past places, like I said, I've never gone, but I think that all my life has been preparing for that, for this moment.
What separates you and Oscar Rivas?
What separates me and Oscar, besides about 40 pounds, is heart. I think that, you know, he's going to be a heavier puncher. I think that he's going to be obviously more experienced. He's going to be stronger. But I think that when it comes down to it, if he can't knock me out, which I believe he's capable of doing, but if he can't and I can withstand the storm, I think that I can dig deeper. And I mean, that's just my belief. I got to prove it now. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but we'll see, I guess.
Taking this fight on 3.5 weeks' notice, how does it make you feel?
So yeah, I took the fight on short notice, of course, but I was coming off a camp. Me and Stevie just finished a brutal camp, and it was the best camp we ever had. It was the most sparring we ever did. We had 57 rounds of sparring, hundreds and hundreds of rounds in the bags and the mitts, and I was in the best shape of my life, physically and mentally. I was ready to defend my my international title against Vasily Bukhar, of course. So when that fight got canceled, I got a bit like down about boxing, and you know, my fans know that I was contemplating actually hanging the gloves up, and I even mentioned it to my promoters literally the day before they called, that I was getting discouraged with boxing. Like, just I figured I'd never get an opportunity, right? And it's crazy that this call came, but so yeah, it was only 3 weeks off, and during that 3 weeks I was running. I was doing some little bit of road work here and there, so I kept my conditioning up, and I mean, we're in the second day of camp now, and we're already about 90% back to where we were at the end of the last camp. So by the time the fight comes around, we're going to be right back to where we were. So the short notice, it's not really, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem.
How do you see the fight going?
I see the fight going different ways, of course. Like, you know, every fighter at this point, they stress about it. They see it going good for them. They see it going bad for them. Like, I mean, I see so many different scenarios, but you know, it's up to me mentally to get in that zone and just focus on winning the fight. That's all I can focus on right now. I see it being a very brutal fight. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I just see it being like just a war, and I think that Oscar's gonna be extremely surprised when he doesn't blow this cruiserweight out of the water like he thinks he's gonna do.
What do you see any holes in his game?
I think every fighter's got holes in their game. I got holes in my game. Oscar's got holes in his game. Mike Tyson had holes in his game. You know, so did Muhammad Ali. Every fighter does. It's just a matter of taking advantage of those mistakes on the night and being sharp enough and aware enough and ready enough to do that. You know, like that's the most difficult thing in boxing, is to take advantage of those mistakes. But yeah, Oscar makes them, and just got to be able to take advantage of them. So, like, you know, this is probably, it's not just the biggest opportunity in my boxing career, but it's the biggest opportunity in my life. You know, a lot of fighters go, well, most fighters go their whole careers and they fight long, tough careers, and they never get an opportunity at a world title. I mean, I had 21 or 22 amateur fights. I had a losing record, and when I turned professional, I didn't turn professional as a prospect. That's what people don't understand, is I turned pro and I was fighting on cards as an opponent. I was fighting on fight cards to just fill in a fight slot against another guy. It was even matches. Like, I was never a prospect who was padded along by a promoter to get a world title shot. It wasn't that way in the beginning. You know, so the fact that I'm getting a world title shot at only 13 pro fights, and, you know, after never proving myself on the world stage yet, it's kind of mind-boggling to me. But I believe, like I said before, that it's just meant to be, and I have to take full advantage of it. And it's just an honor to get this opportunity and to be, you know, only one of very, very few Nova Scotians to ever fight for a Canadian title. And the last time that a Keith Retner's fought for a world title was back in 1904, I believe. I could be wrong, but it was around that time when Jackie Monroe from Bollinger Island fought for the world title against Jim Jeffers. He got knocked out in the second round, but that was the last time that a Keith Retner fought for a world title. It was around 116 years ago. So I mean, like, you know, to get this chance, just to even be in there, win, lose or draw, is it's life changing. It's now I'm officially a part of history.
How does it feel fighting in Montreal for the first time, fighting in his backyard and on his promotional?
So yeah, you know, fighting in his hometown under his promotion company, coming in as an opponent. I know the drill. I know I'm the underdog. I know that I was handpicked by his people to get him the easiest win, to get him the world title. I know exactly what this is. I know the business of boxing, and I know the politics of boxing, and I know my position in this fight from their point of view. You know, when his original opponent, Brian Jennings, got pulled out of the fight, there were so many promoters looking to get their guys this opportunity and to get them to fight, because it was such a massive deal. My promoters, of course, put my name in just for, like, let's see if, you know, maybe who knows? Maybe Ryan gets a shot. You never know. It was kind of like gambling. Like it was just, let's see if we can make a fluke happen here. And it happened. Like I got the shot. So I believe that the reason I got the shot is because his team thinks that I'm his easiest opponent. They're looking at me like, you know, this guy's, he's a cruiserweight and he's a small cruiserweight. I walk around 190, 194, around there. And, you know, he's walking around 240 plus pounds. So they're looking at me like I'm just a guy that he can blow out of the water so that they can have that world title and then go on to do great things. Like I'm the easiest road to his world title. Like I'm part of his story. But he's wrong.